Alright guys, we're gonna finally find Steve. Okay, so Steve is just a puppet. That's where Steve is, but it's how we're gonna find him that I want to talk about. Now real quick, the reason I think he's a puppet is because the last time we see him, he's just with the rest of the cats heading into the Day of Unity, and we know that everyone there just got turned into puppets. Now it is worth noting that just like Amber, Steve wasn't captured with everyone else, and so it's totally possible that he could still be safe and was able to find a place to hide from all the Collector's spies. That being said, as we currently have no evidence to support this, as you know, just because he could be hiding doesn't mean he actually is. It's probably more likely that he was just turned into a puppet, and so that's the conclusion we're going to stick with for this theory. So that being said, we think when we finally do see Steve again, it's just going to be in the collection room at the end of the final game, with him being turned into a puppet just like everyone else. Now I know that's kind of boring, but I think it makes the most sense, and it actually ties in perfectly to our real theory here, as it has to do entirely with trying to find him among the puppets. As we'd expressed in our breakdown videos, we think that once the game is over, the Collector will finally come around to our side, and that most of our squad will end up back in his castle. It's at this point that we would get a brief lull in the story. As though Belos is off kickstarting his final plan with the Titan, our heroes wouldn't even notice as they were all just up in the castle. With them all completely unaware of the danger that they're in, they would just take this downtime as a chance to talk to the Collector, and see if they could convince him to release all of the puppets. So as they're all talking to him, trying to find the people they love, like Willow would be trying to find her dads, Gus would be asking about his dad, etc., they're naming people off, and then suddenly, out of nowhere, another voice chimes in. Do you think you could find who I'm looking for? We look down the hall to see that Bartholomew is here, having entered through a massive opening just down the way. He steps out of the Abomatron, having stolen it from Kiki, finally going on his long-awaited date with Roka.
That's a robot, Matt.
He walks up to the Collector. Any chance you got a Steve in there? The Collector answers, I don't know, I got a lot of Steves. How about a Steve Tholomew? Everyone else just gasps in shock. Okay. The Collector snaps his fingers and brings forth a puppety Steve. Gus turns to Bartholomew. Has Steve been your brother this whole time? He's just my half-brother. You know, Horn. And now everything finally starts to come together. This is why they revealed his full name in For the Future, as it needed to make sense when we finally heard Steve Tholomew. I mean, why else would they have told us what his last name was? Like, that doesn't matter. And so we think they were just setting up this reveal that Steve's his brother. Looking back at the rest of the show, it honestly just makes so much sense, as we can finally understand where they got the map to the Galder Stones, as Bartholomew said that in order to get the map,
I only had to endure 35 nuggies from my older brother.
And it just makes so much sense, as not only could someone in the Emperor's Coven actually be capable of getting that kind of map, just because Gray didn't know about it doesn't mean they didn't have it. I mean, we already know that Belos was using Galder Stones like crazy. But it also really matches with what we know of his personality. Never really feeling right in the Emperor's Coven. Always having a little bit of delinquence in him, you know?
You're becoming more of a delinquent every day.
And so I think it makes sense for him to have either hidden or stolen this map. I'd love to explore this further, as I just love the idea of Steve giving Matt noogies. Shout out to my little sister for making this connection. But I'm all out of time, because I gotta go and find Alador too. But let me know what you think in the comments, because honestly, I don't know, man. And be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss any theories. We look down the hall to see that Bartholomew is here.